So what we're actually looking at right now is the SM student dashboard.
Correct.
Right?
That is correct.
Okay. So at the top of it, again, is the name of our institution and the session that we are in, 2020, 2021.
Okay.
In the drop-down menu, you can see different sessions. And the one that applies in this scenario is 2020, 2021. You can look at others too for the benefit of doubt, but let's focus on this one today.
Just before you continue, I see it starts from 2020, 21. But if a school has had it before now, they will have data for the previous years, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Just, all right, keep going.
So that is the dashboard. So you can see admission, you can see students, you can see ID card, student promotion, transfer students, certificates. So each one of these features is simply with a click into any of, let's pick admission for this exercise. Not in the module, right? In the module.
All right, this this one right here, right?
New admission.
So new?
Yes. So there's several ways to streamline process. So you can see bulk admission, right? So if you wanted to admit multiple students at the same time, you will simply be clicking on bulk admission. So that would give you the ability to enter several, but we are not going to do that in this case. We're just going to look at the information that you will obviously capture as an administrator who is trying to go through admission process for a new student. So maybe if you drag your mouse down, run us through that page all the way to the bottom. So you can see a whole lot of material. So this is a very important section. When you are admitting a student, you want to capture everything at this point, because how that student's profile will be set up is going to be based on how you document every data during the admission process. So if we walk back all the way to the top, sir.
Okay.
So
all the way you say?
Yeah, all the way to the top. You know, basic information, student name, gender, date of birth, religion, caste, blood group, whatever. Some institutions need this information, some don't. But our system is designed, ABS-SMS is designed such that there is every information that you would love to capture is on there. If you want it, you can use it. If you don't, you can always let it go. But the key ones are those with the red asterisks, which means it's a must that have to be keyed. But we recommend that you capture all of this information because they would enhance process down the road. So address, phone, student email, that is certainly a given. You will need that. It's information technology era, so everyone is required to have an email at least.
Okay, because I was almost like asking the question, why would I have to give you my blood group if I don't want to, or my caste, or my religion if I don't want to? But I look at the system here, you're not obliged to.
Yes.
Because there's no asterisk. So the asterisk is you must have to give it, right? Yeah. Because that's your ID. It is part of your identification.
Right.
Okay, that makes. But
now I'm going to answer your question real quick about the blood group section. Why do you have? Why is it important? It's important for the administration to capture the health statistics of their students because they know what kind of health conditions they have, right?
That is true.
That they know how to deal with them. If they're going through circumstances that those students, for some, have some medical conditions, they should know those things when they are admitting them into the school, right? So that they can administer proper care to the students. So it's important to have that information on the database, but again, it's not an obligation.
All right, so this is just something for the medical or the health department of the school,
yes,
so that it helps to build their own database when it comes to that student. It is not like, because I know sometimes people are so sensitive about their health status or the health info, which is quite understood. But here you don't oblige them, but it will be great to have it so that it can also help in transfer of information or the flow, or in case the student needs help you can look there that, oh, it's already a blood group A or O, AB or whatever, even though it's still going to double check, but at least it is going in there with some already knowledge of what that group could be, or potential donors too.
Correct.
Okay.
So that is that. It goes down a little bit. So information, identification. So admission details. So admission date details. You have admission date, that is a must. You have the class that you're admitting that student into. It's in the drop down. You can select which class. So and then the section that you're admitting that student into. Again, those are the systems already capture all of that. Section, again, like we had explained earlier, if that student was being admitted into Form 2 and Form 2 has more than one sections, you either place them in A, B, or C, right?
Correct.
So, and then admission number, roll number, this is where you document all of that information. And then most importantly, to upload the photo. So the photo will automatically go into the student identification card. That's how you capture that information that goes into the identification card for the student. And then, yes, and then look at the parent detail, father, mother, phone, occupation, whichever, and then upload parent ID proof. If you want to have a proof of the ID such that you don't sit in school someday. Think about a scenario where your child is in kindergarten, right?
Yes.
And then another parent shows up to pick them up and you do not capture a photo ID of a parent. You know, you might risk letting that child go in with a stranger. But when you have a photo in the system, there's a kind of security right there. You know who is coming to get that child. We're talking about a case for a kindergarten where kids are still very young and little.
Okay, so does this still apply? The same applies for if say I am kind of running late, or I can't pick my child, my wife, or my spouse cannot do that, and we want to send in somebody, we can just send a photo and say, hey, this is the person that is going to come. Or maybe at the beginning of the year, because we know our schedule already, we say that we know at some point we may need this auntie or this uncle who has already agreed to rushing in when need be to come pick the child. So you can just give that detail right here, and it can be part of the potential senior that can pick up that child, say in a kindergarten situation.
Yes, I mean, it's a yes and a no. A yes in the sense that if you look at the parent detail, it's capturing father and mother. Mm-hmm. So if you upload a photo and you say father, that's how you're going to call it father. You upload another photo and say mother, that's what you're going to call it mother. Okay. It doesn't matter what is your biological or father or mother. Mm-hmm. But in such cases where you have to send someone, this is why the system also was designed such that you can communicate from your end as a parent. You can simply go log into the parent portal, mm-hmm. and say, communicate with the administrator that you will be sending XYZ person, their name, information, and even your photo that will be coming to pick up the child, right?
That is awesome. Great.
And then login detail. This is where you create login details for the different users, the student and their parent, right? As you enter the data into the system, now you are being able to say existing user, new user. You can create a new user login for the student and a new user login for the parent, right? Which means that you will go into the new user section, you will create an ID for the parent, which that parent would use to access the system. And you will equally create one for the student, which is login details above, which the student will equally use to access the system. You have the sole right as the administrator to do that. You are the one who has the ability to create an access account into the system and give it and provide it to the student and the parent. So you are able to control that. Awesome. So student fee structure. So again, based on your school, you have different fee structures. You know, you can label it whatever you want: registration, examinations, tuition, lab fee, and then how you want them to pay. You want them to pay annually. You want them to pay monthly. Do you want it to be a one-time payment? You can select those options there.